Welcome to the Dirty Side of Leadership podcast with Ron and Kristin, where leadership meets entertainment. This podcast features stories with names and certain aspects that have been changed to keep submissions private. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Dirty Side of Leadership podcast, where leadership meets entertainment. I'm Kristin Sokoloff, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ronnie Ward.
You have to do it. Hi, Kristin. How are you doing?
I can't help myself. Doing well.
I need to come up with a nickname for you. But anyway, let's move on. I'm excited about this. We have learned from Buzzsprout that we have been downloaded in 90 countries and 1,099. 99? Oh, you're right.
99, yes.
99 countries.
99, yes.
1,824 cities. And I will say I didn't know there were 99 countries, so that's pretty exciting. I knew there were 98, not 99.
Oh, I was looking through them too. It's pretty wild. Very obscure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And I want to thank everyone who continues to follow, listen, and download our episodes. Please keep spreading the word about the podcast. We appreciate you so much. And today we're going to be talking about optimism, but not the fluffy motivational poster version, right? We're talking about extreme optimism that is seated in your brain, the kind of optimism that when others are talking failure and gloom and doom, you are planning your next big project. The kind that also moves other people forward, builds resilience, and when done right, creates real results.
That's right. And, you know, people say negativity spreads, but guess what? Optimism spreads as well. And people reflect their proximity. And what we mean is the people that surround you, you're going to reflect from them. So if you're surrounded by a bunch of pessimists, you may not even intend to, but you're going to get negative. But if you surround yourself with optimistic people, you're going to reflect that. So be careful on that inner circle.
Yeah, there was like a saying, it's like a New Yorker saying, if you play in the dumpster, you're going to smell like trash. You know, something like that. And that's kind of what they're saying is like, yeah, you hang around with the bad kids or negative people when we're adults, right? You're going to start smelling like them. You're going to behave like them, and you're going to be coupled into whatever they are.
You know, Kristin, in my leadership course, I've got a saying, garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
You can't put garbage in a trash can and think something else is going to come out when the trash truck runs.
So there really is something, too, when parents are telling their kids, like, I don't want you hanging out with that person, like, they're bad news. Like, there really is something to that. We see something, and kids will understand down the road. Maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So Ron, I notice, and I was a great salesperson, still am, but when I was actually in and I had KPIs and I was selling every day at the bank, I noticed that I shake my head. Yes, I don't even think about it, but I'm like nodding my head yes as I'm talking about something that I feel will benefit the person, or something that I think they may be interested in. Or even when someone's talking to me about something and I'm interested, I'm nodding my head yes. Break that down for me.
Yeah, and that shows how optimism spreads. People will reflect again. So if you're nodding your head yes, you are saying, I agree with you. Keep talking. You know, Kristin, one technique people don't talk about much is you can just bring your hand up, and all I'm doing is making a little circle with my fingers beside of my head, if you're listening. And it's telling you, keep going, let it roll, keep going. And again, if you are in proximity to positivity, it is going to have an impact on you. So you shake your head when I talk, Kristin, so that lets me know you always agree with me. Thank you. All right,
always.
Let's move on.
I have to say, though, the finger around the ear thing, that also in some cultures means you're crazy.
Well, that's one finger, though. That's one finger. I've got it out.
You're doing a
If
whole
you're listening,
hand.
It's out in front of me, and I'm using the whole hand.
And
I'm
it's
making
like,
a wheel.
going.
I'm rolling up and down.
Okay. So yes, that those details matter. Everyone's gonna be like, wait, yeah, that's awesome, and they're like, wait, are they telling me I'm crazy? But no, that's great. It's those cues and clues that we need to be aware of. All right, so back to optimism. So people confuse it with denial or being naive. But extreme optimism isn't pretending things are fine. It's the belief that even when things are hard, effort learning and persistence still matter.
Yeah, that's true. The reason people use, or we're using, extreme optimism is it's a default belief in yourself and your ability to influence. It's a mindset that says, I may not control everything, but I control my response. And that response can change outcomes. It keeps people engaged instead of resigned.
And from a brain standpoint, we like to talk about the brain a lot. That matters. And it sounds like the ability to self-regulate regardless of the circumstances.
No, that's exactly right. Optimism keeps the prefrontal cortex, we'll get a little bit nerdy here, the prefrontal cortex online. And the prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that's responsible for planning, problem solving, and decision making. So when people lose optimism, fear takes over, and the amygdala, which seeds your emotions, it lights up. And thinking narrows because you're not getting clear neurotransmitters to the prefrontal cortex. Optimism literally keeps the brain flexible.
Yeah, it's huge. I wish we would have seen more optimism in 2020 because I feel like fear absolutely took over, and we saw a lot of that. So this is really important to be able to understand how the brain works. So really, when pessimism, it feels realistic, but it actually shuts things down.
Yeah, and a lot of pessimistic people think they're really intelligent. You know, they're the smartest one in the room. But optimism is what allows people to keep working the problem. Optimism stays in solution mode longer. I've talked about when we had a crisis at the academy, the pessimist was always the sky's falling. But guess what? I look back now and I retired. All those chaotic incidences don't even matter now. We made it through. But it's a pessimistic person. They just can't see beyond the problem. And that is the problem, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ron, I was just without water for 6 days because the water main broke on Christmas night. I have a sink full of dishes. I mean, it was a nightmare. Literally had to brush our teeth using water bottle water, etc. 6 days. But I kept positive because you know what? If I would have gone off the rails, the entire family would have gone off the rails. And you have to understand, you know, it's the whole glass half full approach. It caused us all to like bunker in, and we had more time together, board games, etc. Right? So let's talk about the rewards. What do people actually gain from extreme optimism, much like what I just described?
Yeah, and this is so important. Optimists interpret failure as temporary and specific. Pessimists see it as permanent and personal. They just can't get over it. They can't move beyond it. That one difference determines who's going to keep going and who quits early.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, another great example is I was just with my mom and she was picking up her car. Her engine just failed in a new car. Luckily, she had a warranty and they replaced it. We were literally driving home from the dealership and we were rear-ended by a young gal. And it's one of those things you want to just get out and just scream at them, right? But it's like, I was like, Mom, because she can get a little snippy. I'm like, this too shall pass. Just take a breath, right? And she handled herself very well. But it is, you know, some people just go off the rails, and that's not doing anyone any favors, especially yourself, if that's you.
Exactly.
So when someone fails, they're thinking that they are a failure. But optimists just say, hey, that didn't work. Let's fix it. Let's move on to the next project. A lot of the huge entrepreneurs we see, Elon Musk, he talks about this all the time. That alone explains a lot of success stories.
Yeah, when you fail, it doesn't make you a failure. People need to know that.
Yeah.
And it's not your identity. It's not who you are. So the second thing, optimists attract better opportunities. It's proven. People want to work with leaders who believe progress is possible. Optimism signals emotional safety, stability, and leadership capacity. People feel safe when they are with an optimist.
Yeah. And I was just on a business call yesterday, and I'm curious what you think on this. It went really well. He was pitching me his new idea, wants me to jump on board and help out with some stuff. And then he texted me later, thank you for the conversation. That was exciting. And I'm like, oh, what exactly? Is that because I'm an optimist? I'm positive because I was giving some ideas. What do you think, Ron, when someone says that was exciting?
Well, optimism by itself is just an emotion, but you brought your years of experience and your belief in yourself, your belief in whatever he was presenting, and all of that packaged together is exciting. I love when people say, I'm super excited to be here. That's the big buzzword. But
I love that.
I've
never had someone say that before,
well,
so it
I'm
took me
super
aback.
excited to be on this podcast with you, Kristin. All right.
You too, Ron.
Let's move on.
Oh my gosh. All right, so you started the coaching business from nothing. That's something that you have to reflect on. Hopefully you pat yourself on the back occasionally. So based on your social media post this morning that I saw, there is now a significant amount of certified coaches. So congratulations on that. So basically you're planning consistency and optimism, built a network.
Yeah, and I am super excited about that.
Right.
There were certainly times when you either say, am I crazy for believing
Yeah.
this, or is this optimism? And I really did. It took one person at a time. It kept being consistent. And my optimism is catchy because people tell me that. So they believe in what we're doing. And Kristin, that's the same with you. Look at this network you've built. And, we didn't write a podcast to brag on each other, but you have this huge network, and nothing starts that way. You have to have a level of optimism to keep going, to keep building, to keep doing you.
Yeah. What about Colonel C.J. Williams last week, right? How he said, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
That's exactly
so
right.
that's exactly what you're describing there.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So chronic pessimism elevates cortisol over time, right? So optimism helps regulate stress, improves recovery, and supports immune function. I mean, literally, it's science at this point. It's not just your mindset, it's psychology.
Yeah, I hope our listeners caught that. It has a physical response, not just a mental response.
Right.
Now, let's switch gears. We do have to put guardrails. Optimism can also go wrong, right, Kristin?
Right. It can. So we're going positive first, negative second. We're flipping what we usually do. But it definitely can. Optimism becomes dangerous when it refuses to look at data. I mentioned I've had KPIs my entire banking career, key performance indicators. You have to look at that stuff because I can be super optimistic, but my KPI looks like trash. So I have to look at that and then make changes based on what my data is telling me. So if you dismiss concerns or, you're labeling fear as negativity, that's not leadership, that's avoidance.
Yeah. So give us a mild example of what toxic positivity might look like, Kristin.
Yeah, and I've probably done this on the down low a little bit with my social media because, for instance, let's just say people want to be a social media influencer and they post the same content, the same time every day, same hashtags, yet they never grow, right? But they have a few friends who like it and comment on their posts. So that's helping them continue to go because they feel like maybe they're measuring that as a level of success. They believe it's going to turn around any day, but they never take the time to evaluate their process. And that could be considered toxic positivity, where you're really not living in reality if you continue on that way.
And Kristin, the big buzzword is manifesting. And believe me, I believe in faith. And I've just said that optimism will draw more positive things to you. But the problem is, I've seen people read a book on manifesting, and they just sit back and believe.
Kick their feet up on the desk.
Yeah, and then they're gonna be in that Bentley, and it just doesn't
Lord.
happen. So that's when it becomes toxic for sure.
Yeah, that's concerning.
Yeah. It's basically emotional denial and refuses to look at research, facts, etc. Healthy optimism says, this is hard, and we're still capable. It allows reality and hope to exist at the same time.
That reality, that's the one you need to, everyone needs to make sure they're living and coming from a place of reality. Ron, why do you think extreme optimists often rise into leadership roles?
I love this saying, Kristin. Leadership requires borrowing confidence from the future. You literally step into the future and you bring that vision to life. Leaders have to hold the belief that something good's going to happen when others can't. They carry the vision through uncertainty, setbacks, and fear. They keep going.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is great. I've actually never heard that. The leadership requires borrowing confidence from the future.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to use that. I like that.
Yeah, me too. Let's bring it back to you. You're a social media influencer. You had to have exhibited extreme optimism to keep posting content. And I do see these people, Kristin. The reason I wanted you to touch on this is I see these people, man, they get fired up and you see them, they're posting like crazy and you're like, oh, George is back. Hey, George, you know it's not going to last. How do you not just want to quit for a month?
Yeah, that's where you're constantly having to, and people do all the time, like people that are in my circle, they'll be like, sorry, I took a break. And for me, like taking a break is failure. Like you have to keep going. And for me, it was the whole one bite of the elephant, right? It's like, if I can make, even when I was shadow banned for 4 years, like that's incredibly, the whole goal is to get you to stop, right? Yeah, that's why they do that. But if you can make progress, that's just little tiny small bites, right? Even if it's like one day, oh my gosh, I mean, back when I was shadow banned, I might have only gotten like 5 new followers in a day. And it was like, I saw that as a win. And you know what I did during that time? I reached out to every single one of them and thanked them for following me, right? So I had that time and it was that important to me. So the value of them went up because I had less. And so it's just continuing to see even a little win as a win and to keep going.
Yeah, and
not easy, I'll tell you that.
No, it's not. And everyone loves those success stories, but they don't see Steve Jobs in the garage. They always see him at the top of the throne. Right. And it is in that darkest moment, that grind, that's where success is built. Yes. We've already said this. Here's a different way. Optimism is leadership, is a leadership loan. You carry belief until others are strong enough to carry it themselves. Mm-hmm.
Does that go in line with that fake it till you make it mentality?
See, I'm all about that. People talk to me, but Kristin, I teach the 4 gazes in coaching: the power gaze, social gaze, listening gaze, and intimate gaze. So the power gaze, I've had people over and over tell me, oh, I can't look people in the eye. They start practicing it. I said, you appear confident. The confidence will come. And sure enough, they call me back and they're like, man, I have no problem looking people in the eye. So I am a fake it till you make it. I don't mean lying, but you can't walk in when you're nervous and slump your shoulders and do all that. No. You've got to perform. You've got to step up if you're going to advance in life and your career.
And I think it's important to have someone giving you that feedback, have a coach, or even me as a parent. I'm like, hey, little body language things I see my kids doing, maybe the slumped shoulders. Like my son's very confident. My daughter is pretty confident too, but their body language may read otherwise. And so I'm correcting that as I see it. So we need to be doing that for each other. And yes, you can, if you learn those things, you can fake it till you make it, because then you embody it. Yep. All right. So this is a serious question. A lot of people are probably wondering right now, how do you build this extreme optimism without becoming unrealistic or that dreamer?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question.
I personally don't like.
Yeah, it's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
A few practical ways. Reframe setbacks as data. In other words, you're not seeing this total failure. You're just recording it. Okay, that didn't work. And then you got to reward effort, not just outcomes. Like you may not get a client if you're in sales, but you've developed, you've done outreach, you're getting better and better, you're getting bolder. So you reward yourself. You give yourself a psychological pat on the back that, hey, I did outreach today. Tomorrow's going to be better. Yeah. And of course, limit constant pessimistic input. You're always going to have those naysayers. And believe me, I've had them, Kristin. Yeah. We track those small wins. And again, surround yourself with builders. Surround yourself with people that are doing something.
Yes, absolutely. Optimism really is a skill. Like, I can't say that enough. It is. It's a skill.
It's true, and it gets stronger with practice. Kristin, I had a phone call today. I had someone who's an entrepreneur not doing well, and I encouraged them. I said, look, you may have to shift gears, move toward AI a little bit, but you've built too much. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And they said they felt much better at the end of the phone call.
Yes. Sometimes you just need that. I think that's huge. I think it's important to think that, or to understand that belief in yourself or belief in others, it can change how people lead, decide, and show up ultimately.
Yeah, and Kristin, you and I have not shied away from our faith. So this belief in self, for me, and a lot of people that I coach, it's great to know that God's on our side, that I can pray and say, please give me favor in this situation. I prayed over my daughters when they were in their mother's womb, that God would grant them favor. So that's a component that I don't want to leave out. But if you're a believer, you have that extra unction to keep going forward. Right. And optimism really does spread when I say, but also optimism causes action. It will cause people to actually work and do things because they catch your vision, they believe it, and they'll respond.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this has been a great conversation, Ron. And as we close, Ron, I want people listening to understand and that you can dig deep. That's what you need to do. Dig deep, speak, think, and live optimistically. And eventually things will change for the better.
That's exactly right. You got to believe that, folks. We are hoping that this year is huge for all of you that are listening.
Yes.
And we believe that if you will put these skills in for us, it's all about us. If you believe what we've said here and you apply those skills, I contact us at the end of the year and let us know. But I think things will definitely be turning around for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for everything. It's like when we look at our stats, we're just humbled.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, everybody, be the leader you're meant to be.
We'll see you next week.
The Dirty Side of Leadership podcast is brought to you by Forward Operations. If you'd like to book Ron or Kristin for speaking events, training, or executive coaching, visit forwardoperations.com. Be the leader you're meant to be.